50 Cent, a man known for his relentless psychological games, was just caught red-handed inside T.I.'s highly fortified private recording compound, attempting a heist so malicious it could have erased a legend's entire legacy. His target? The master hard drive of T.I.'s highly anticipated final album, Kill the King. But this wasn't some silent corporate espionage. T.I.'s elite security detail cornered 50 in the dark, and what was supposed to be a stealth operation instantly erupted into an absolute bloodbath. The walls of that sanctuary shook with the sounds of a brutal, unfiltered physical altercation that left one of the biggest moguls in music exposed, humiliated, and violently thrown out into the street. The leaked security footage is already sending shockwaves through the industry, and a massive panic has officially locked down the city. You are not ready for the screams caught on tape and the terrifying realization of what happens next. To truly comprehend how a multimillionaire mogul like 50 Cent ends up cornered in a dark Atlanta studio scrambling for a piece of plastic, you have to understand the toxic, decades-long psychological warfare between Clifford Harris and Curtis Jackson. This isn't your typical internet beef over a Twitter subtweet or a club VIP section. This is a deeply rooted, generational grudge between two men who helped pioneer the modern landscape of Southern and East Coast hip-hop, both claiming thrones that only one can truly occupy. The tension between T.I. and 50 Cent has been a ticking time bomb for years. Think back to the mid-2000s when both artists were at the absolute peak of their commercial dominance. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, built an empire on Grand Hustle Records, defining the very fabric of trap music. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was tearing through the industry like a human wrecking ball with G-Unit, using raw intimidation and unmatched marketing genius to systematically dismantle his rivals. For years, they kept a respectful distance, but the underlying alpha energy was always there, simmering in the background, just waiting for a catalyst to ignite. That catalyst finally arrived when T.I. announced his retirement album, Kill the King. This project wasn't just another release. It was meticulously designed to be T.I.'s magnum opus, a flawless, star-studded final curtain call to cement his legacy forever. Industry insiders whispered that the features alone cost millions, containing highly guarded, unreleased verses from some of the greatest legends to ever touch a microphone. The hype was astronomical, and the pressure was immense. But where the world saw a legendary send-off, 50 Cent saw a massive, flashing target. 50 has made a career out of weaponizing his rivals' most vulnerable moments. He doesn't just want to win an argument. He wants to erase his competition from the history books entirely. Sources close to the G-Unit boss claim he viewed T.I.'s grand exit as an unearned coronation. The silent jealousy simmered behind closed doors until it mutated into a dangerous, calculated obsession. The bad blood escalated drastically just weeks ago when King Harris, T.I.'s outspoken son, recklessly entered the fray. If you've been following the timeline, you know King took to Instagram Live, dropping explicit insults directed at 50 Cent's late mother, dragging old, deeply personal street dynamics back into the unforgiving spotlight. 50 Cent, true to form, didn't just brush the kid off, he weaponized the disrespect. He used his massive platform to relentlessly mock T.I.'s parenting, creating a humiliating public narrative that the king of the South couldn't even control his own household. Every interview, every viral clip, and every podcast appearance became live ammunition. The psychological tension grew so heavy that powerful industry executives reportedly warned both camps to stay strictly away from each other. But the digital battlefield simply wasn't enough for 50 Cent anymore. He wanted a definitive, devastating blow that would ensure Kill the King would never see the light of day. He wanted to hit T.I. where it hurt the most, his legacy, his art, and his absolute pride. The stage was set, the pieces were in motion, and absolutely nobody was prepared for the sheer violence that was about to unfold when these two worlds finally collided. It all went down on a rainy, pitch-black Tuesday morning, right around 2:45 a.m. at T.I.'s ultra-exclusive, heavily fortified recording compound in the heart of Atlanta. If you know anything about the studio, you know it operates like a military bunker. It is a strictly VIP sanctuary, a place where only top-tier elites are granted access under heavy, armed supervision. T.I. had just wrapped up a grueling 14-hour mixing session for Kill the King, meticulously perfecting the album's title track before finally leaving the building under the protection of his primary security detail. Only a skeleton crew of overnight guards and a single trusted audio engineer remained. But 50 Cent didn't just roll up with a street crew to kick the front doors in. No, he played a much more sinister, high-level game of corporate espionage. According to deeply embedded industry sources, 50 Cent had secretly placed that overnight engineer on the G-Unit payroll weeks in advance. Utilizing this devastating inside connection, 50 obtained a temporary security bypass code for the studio's blind spot loading dock. Dressed in an all-black tactical tracksuit, his face pulled low under a cap, 50 walked into the facility completely undetected, bypassing the biometric scanners entirely. His objective was singular, cold, and calculated. He headed straight for Vault C, the climate-controlled server room where the physical, uncompressed master hard drives of Kill the King were locked away. Can you imagine the sheer audacity? A hip-hop billionaire, risking his freedom and his life, creeping through the hallways of his sworn enemy just to erase his legacy. The security footage, which has now been terrifyingly leaked to select underground dark web blogs, shows exactly what happened next. 50 Cent enters the dimly lit server room. He can be seen aggressively pulling out a specialized data extraction tool, frantically attempting to unmount the primary solid-state drive from the mainframe. This wasn't just a copy. If that physical drive left the building, T.I.'s entire multi-million-dollar rollout, his features, his retirement, everything would be utterly paralyzed. But 50 Cent severely underestimated the terrifying loyalty of T.I.'s inner circle. Big Mike, T.I.'s veteran head of security, who has been by his side through federal trials and street wars, was monitoring the feeds from the basement guard station. He noticed a sudden, unauthorized power fluctuation on the Vault C monitors. Sensing something was deeply wrong, Mike and two massive security operatives drew their batons and rushed silently down the corridor, not even turning on the main lights, praying to catch the intruder by surprise. When they kicked the heavy acoustic door open, the scene erupted into instant, terrifying chaos. Caught dead in the blinding beam of tactical flashlights, 50 Cent didn't freeze, and he didn't surrender. He snapped. Realizing his entire reputation was on the line, he lunged forward, physically shielding the hard drive rack with his body. What followed was a vicious, claustrophobic bloodbath inside the narrow server room. Punches were thrown blindly in the near-total darkness. Expensive, custom-built audio interfaces were shattered into pieces. The raw audio from the leaked security tape is absolutely blood-curdling. You can clearly hear Big Mike roaring. "You thought you could pull a fast one here? In our house?" Followed by a barrage of heavy thuds and the sickening sound of bodies slamming against the mixing console. 50 Cent fought back with a desperate, terrifying ferocity, throwing wild elbows and trying to break through the defensive line of guards. But he was severely outnumbered and physically outmatched by the elite security team. Within 90 seconds of pure, unadulterated violence, 50 Cent was pinned violently to the floor, his face pressed hard against the cold studio carpet, his hands forcibly wrenched away from the master drive. But Big Mike didn't call the police. That's not how this level of rap beef is handled. Instead, they violently hauled 50 Cent up by his collar, dragging him down the main hallway of the studio. 50 was literally dragged across the polished hardwood floors, his boots aggressively scuffing the walls right beneath T.I.'s platinum record displays. They shoved him through the heavy velvet double doors of the main entrance, sending one of the most feared men in hip-hop crashing down onto the wet concrete of the parking lot just as an unmarked black SUV pulled up to scoop him away into the night. By 3:30 a.m., T.I. had received the emergency call. Sources say he arrived back at the compound within 15 minutes, driving like a madman. When he walked into the rec server room and saw the shattered glass, the blood on the carpet, and realized his own engineer had betrayed him, his reaction was described as pure, demonic fury. A leaked text message from a studio in turn to a major blog read, "Tip is destroying the lobby right now. He just threw a $5,000 monitor through a glass wall. He wants heads to roll." T.I. was furious, But as he stood in the wreckage, he took a deep breath, looking at the untouched physical hard drive still secured in its bay. He thought he had won. He thought his security team had saved his legacy just in the nick of time. But then, the room went dead silent. Big Mike shined his flashlight toward the back of the server rack, and T.I.'s heart completely stopped. Plugged deep into the hidden network ports at the base of the console was a small, blinking green light. It was a military-grade, wireless data transmitter. The physical fight? The desperate struggling? It was all a distraction. 50 Cent never intended to walk out of that building with a physical hard drive in his pocket. He was deliberately buying time. While he was taking punches and fighting off the guards, that transmitter was executing a high-speed, encrypted cloud-based clone of the entire Kill the King album directly to an offshore G-Unit server. By the time they dragged 50 Cent out into the rain, the progress bar had already hit 100%. The physical drive was safe, but the album was already gone. And 50 Cent now held T.I.'s entire musical life squarely in the palm of his hand. The blinking green light on the wireless transmitter wasn't just a piece of rogue tech. It was the digital Grim Reaper coming for T.I.'s entire legacy. When Big Mike finally ripped the device from the console, the damage was already irreparably done. The progress bar had hit 100%. T.I., a man known for his unshakable, cold-blooded composure, completely lost it. He ordered the entire recording compound on absolute lockdown, confiscated every cellular device from the remaining staff, and had his top-tier legal team on a frantic conference call before 4 a.m. But you can't put the genie back in the bottle when 50 Cent is the one holding the lamp. By sunrise, the digital fallout began to manifest, and it was nothing short of apocalyptic. A notorious, anonymous burner account on X, formerly Twitter, widely suspected by industry insiders to be operated by a high-ranking G-Unit associate, posted a cryptic, pitch-black video. The caption was just a crown emoji and a trash can. The audio? A flawless, crystal-clear, 5-second snippet of Kill the King's highly protected title track. It wasn't just any verse. It featured a legendary, never-before-heard posthumous feature that T.I. had spent millions clearing. The internet instantly melted down. The hashtag #KillTheKingHeist started trending globally within minutes. Fan reactions were absolute chaos. One viral tweet with over 150,000 retweets read, 50 Cent didn't just break into a studio, he just committed the first digital homicide in rap history. Tip is finished. Another user posted, this ain't a rap beef anymore, 50 is running a literal cartel op. Loudly crying face. DJ Academics immediately went live on his stream to 200,000 viewers, literally screaming into his microphone, holding his head in sheer disbelief, shouting, "Bro, he actually did it. 50 Cent just stole the Thanos gauntlet of Atlanta hip-hop. We are witnessing history." The embarrassment of the leaked audio was devastating enough, but what happened next dropped the floor out from under the entire situation, changing the trajectory from a nasty rap beef into a federal-level corporate crisis. As T.I.'s legal sharks frantically prepared an emergency federal injunction to block 50 from distributing the album, an encrypted, untraceable email landed directly in T.I.'s personal inbox. The sender ID was completely masked, routed through a proxy server in Eastern Europe, but the subject line read simply, "Look closer." Attached was a single, password-protected PDF document. When T.I. forced the file open, his entire team froze in absolute, bone-chilling horror. The document wasn't just track lists or audio files.
It was a
complete collection of highly sensitive, private financial ledgers, unredacted multi-million-dollar publishing contracts, and deeply personal non-disclosure agreements. You see, the master server network 50 Cent had breached in Vault C didn't just hold the music. It was the central digital vault for Grand Hustle Records' entire corporate operation. 50 Cent hadn't just stolen the album, he had accidentally, or perhaps intentionally, extracted the financial DNA of T.I.'s empire. He had the receipts, the hidden payout splits, the private settlements, and the deepest skeletons in the closet. The leverage 50 Cent now possessed was unfathomable. If T.I. moved forward with pressing felony burglary or assault charges regarding the studio physical breach, 50 didn't just have the power to leak an album. He had the leverage to completely dismantle T.I.'s financial empire and expose corporate secrets that could ruin the lives, marriages, and careers of half the executives in Atlanta. The trap was perfectly laid. T.I. was completely paralyzed. He couldn't call the police without risking total, permanent financial exposure. He was checkmated in his own castle. As whispers of the full server breach spread through underground back channels, the entire music industry went into a state of sheer terror. Other A-list artists who had recorded at that specific studio over the past 3 years suddenly realized their unreleased sessions, their private voice notes, and their dirty secrets might also be sitting on that stolen hard drive partition. Major label executives began frantically calling T.I.'s management, screaming through the phone, threatening to pull massive distribution backing if their artist's data was compromised. The pressure was suffocating. And just when you thought the psychological torture couldn't get any worse, 50 Cent made his first official public move. He didn't drop a diss track. He didn't do a gloating interview. He simply went to his official Instagram page and posted a picture of himself sitting comfortably on a private jet, smiling that signature, menacing smile, holding a silver hard drive up to the camera. The caption? A simple, terrifying countdown timer set for exactly 48 hours. No explanation. No demands. Just a ticking clock. What happens when that timer hits 0? Is 50 Cent going to leak the album, expose the financial ledgers to the feds, or destroy the entire Southern rap industry with one single click? The suspense is literally tearing the internet apart. By noon the following day, the entire landscape of hip-hop was in a state of absolute, unhinged civil war. The leaked 5-second snippet and the rumors of the midnight studio brawl spread across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube commentary channels like a digital wildfire. The narrative wasn't just about a rap beef anymore. It had rapidly mutated into a massive, industry-wide debate about street codes, ethical boundaries, and the terrifying realities of corporate cyber warfare in music. Social media immediately fractured into two fierce, uncompromising factions. On one side, the G-Unit faithful were celebrating 50 Cent as a tactical, supervillain genius, a man who proves time and time again that absolutely nobody is safe from his reach. Memes began multiplying at an uncontrollable rate. Fan accounts were photoshopping 50 Cent's face onto Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, dangling from a server room ceiling. The comment sections under every major hip-hop blog were a battlefield. One viral tweet with over 200,000 likes read, 50 Cent really played 4D chess while T.I. was playing checkers. You can't lock out the gorilla from the kingdom. Another user added, he didn't just end a career, he repossessed a whole record label. Skull. Conversely, T.I.'s massive, deeply loyal Southern fanbase was completely revolted by the act. They flooded timelines with waves of outrage, calling 50 Cent a desperate, aging bully who had to resort to literal grand larceny because he could no longer compete on a musical level. Prominent Atlanta cultural figures and underground artists began speaking out, drawing a hard line in the sand. Fans argued that crossing the physical boundary of a man's private creative sanctuary, violating the sacred space where art is made, was an unforgivable code violation that went far beyond the standard rules of rap warfare. Tip built the South. One furious fan wrote on Reddit, 50 is acting like a disgruntled ex-employee breaking into an office. This isn't hip-hop, this is a felony. The industry backlash wasn't limited to everyday fans. High-profile platforms and major artists found themselves forced to take sides in the crossfire. DJ Academics hosted a frantic 6-hour live stream, breaking down the technical aspects of the cloud leak with a cybersecurity expert, screaming into his microphone about the sheer audacity of the heist. Meanwhile, hip-hop veterans started weighing in. Rick Ross, never one to miss an opportunity to jab at 50, posted an Instagram story sipping from a gold teacup with a caption, "When you can't make hits, you gotta steal, We protecting the servers in Miami? Boss." Even more chaotic was the reaction from the corporate world. Representatives from major vinyl pressing plants, streaming giants, and digital marketing agencies associated with the Kill the King rollout immediately pulled their active promotional campaigns. They were terrified. News outlets outside of hip-hop media, like TMZ and Forbes, started covering the situation, framing it not as a rap feud, but as a massive corporate cyber attack. The silence from both primary camps was deafening, fueling even wilder conspiracy theories. Some popular podcast hosts began claiming the entire event was a highly elaborate, manufactured publicity stunt masterminded by both artists to drive up streaming numbers before T.I. retired. Think about it, one host argued. You really think 50 Cent is doing his own Black Ops server hacking in 2026? This is WWE for rappers. But those theories were instantly crushed when a prominent Atlanta defense attorney accidentally leaked a statement to a local news affiliate, revealing that federal cybercrime divisions were already quietly making inquiries. This wasn't a game, and it wasn't a stunt. It was a ticking time bomb. With half the internet laughing at the heist, and the other half demanding 50 Cent be locked up in federal prison, the culture is completely split down the middle. And the scariest part? The real collateral damage hasn't even been revealed yet. Just when the rap world thought this high-stakes drama had reached its absolute boiling point, the ultimate bomb dropped from the sky, completely flipping the script on who is actually controlling the narrative. At exactly 6 p.m., an official press release was blasted across major media outlets, but it didn't come from T.I., and it didn't come from 50 Cent. It came from a high-powered, international corporate litigation firm representing a massive, multi-billion-dollar technology and music distribution conglomerate. The statement revealed a terrifying truth that sent an icy wave of panic through the highest echelons of the music industry. The master server network 50 Cent had infiltrated in Vault C didn't just belong to T.I. or Grand Hustle Records. It was part of a newly integrated, decentralized cloud network architecture that held the ultra-secure, unreleased digital distribution rights for multiple major labels. By deploying that rogue wireless transmitter to clone T.I.'s files, 50 Cent's automated extraction script didn't just capture Kill the King. The automated mirror link had inadvertently swept up unreleased catalog assets, private studio voice notes, and highly classified contract negotiations belonging to 3 other massive, A-list global superstars who shared that exact same cloud server hub. This means 50 Cent is no longer just locked in a private street war with T.I. He is now accidentally holding the creative property of the entire music industry hostage. If those cloned servers leak, or if federal investigators seize the G-Unit hard drives as evidence of the initial burglary, the collateral damage will be catastrophic, potentially exposing the deepest secrets and unreleased hits of icons who have absolutely nothing to do with this feud. The implications are absolutely terrifying. Inside sources within T.I.'s camp have just leaked a blockbuster update. A secret, mandatory emergency meeting has been called at a private airport hangar just outside Atlanta. High-level industry power players, billionaire tech investors, and executive board members from major streaming services have flown in, forcing both T.I. and 50 Cent to attend under strict non-disclosure agreements. The goal? To neutralize this situation before the entire summer release schedule collapses into legal chaos. But knowing the explosive, volatile egos of both men, putting them in the same room right after a violent physical altercation is like throwing a lit match into a room full of dynamite. Will T.I. accept a massive corporate settlement to save the industry, or will his legendary pride demand absolute, violent retribution for the disrespect inside his own sanctuary? Is 50 Cent actually going to delete the data, or is he currently sitting in that hangar, smiling, preparing to drop the biggest, most destructive data leak in the history of internet culture? The clock is ticking down to 0 on 50's Instagram timer. The legal teams are locked in war rooms, and the next few hours will determine the fate of the entire rap game forever. This is easily the most dangerous, high-stakes moment in hip-hop history, and things are changing minute by minute. We are tracking this corporate warfare around the clock, and our insider sources are locked into both camps to bring you the exact second that hangar meeting concludes. But I want to hear from you right now. Did 50 Cent cross an unforgivable line by invading a private studio and targeting a man's final legacy? Or did T.I.'s security fail the ultimate test? Who is holding the winning cards? Drop your raw thoughts and predictions in the comments below. If you want to ensure you do not miss the emergency update video containing the leaked hallway security footage and the breakdown of that secret meeting the second it hits the web, you need to smash that subscribe button right now, turn on your post notifications, and hit that like button to support the channel. Stay locked in, keep your eyes on the feed, and get ready, because the next chapter of this war is about to explode.